Whoa, somebody gave Eerie Guest a bigger budget this time. So since the only simming children mentioned are Maya and Aaron, this is before Nikki gets locked up, right? Or is this way after, since Nikki would have been found? That was such a badly hidden transition. Since that's not Nikki's house, this has to be a while after Hello Neighbor 1, right? So did Aaron manage to escape after Act 2, or didn't he? Where are the massive walls from Act 2? The animation here is a major step up from the original game. That all you got, Theo? And that was all we're seeing from The Guest. And that was Hello Neighbor 2. Can I go home now? 3 games in and we finally have an actual tutorial. About damn time. The vaulting mechanic makes platforming significantly easier. So much so that I think that this really could have been a platformer this time and been fine. And that was Hello Neighbor 2. Can I go home now? So who's taking us back home? Theo? The Guest? Who bandaged us up? Is it also the same guy who brought us home? I guess The Guest really hates cops. Who knew The Guest was based? And all the bandages are gone. The overpriced helicopter DLC. These crows tell you where to go, which is a good thing to have in an open world. Again, with the music, it's always so damn good with this franchise. No distraction with the squeaky toys. It's a genuinely useful thing to have. For the one house it's in. You can put items away. This solves everything, minus 1 billion sins. So why do I have to wait for the train to get the scissors? Can't Quentin just reach his arm in and pull it out? I guess Theo decided fixing his roof was more important than keeping the child in his basement. Fall damage. Not even 10 minutes in and already glitched. The moment you cut this tape, the police officer will just stalk up there, making it really difficult to navigate around. Why is Theo's bed on a track? Why is it motor powered? This obvious gap in the wall. This inventory system. Why is this room decorated with nothing but simming posters? A lot of the puzzles in this game are dependent on keypads, and they can be brute forced with memorization, meaning you can just skip entire steps. But instead of being due to good design, it's because the solution is an easy to remember number. Why is this in the basement? I'm so glad they still made it a red lock. That red lock is more important than you'd think. So how does Aaron have access to a newspaper? Seriously, how did he have access to so many newspapers? He's practically flooded the town. Okay, what even happened here? Does Quentin have narcolepsy or something? So we're still using nightmare sequences instead of just telling an actual story, huh? That being said, this moment of Theo under the bed did really get me to jump the first time around. Who keeps dragging us back home? It has to be The Guest, right? So, how does Quentin have access to all this footage? It's not live and he wasn't recording before he passed out, so what's going on? The ladder crawling is so damn slow. Bakery is the best designed house here. It's not too cramped and not too big. And the bakery is just the right amount of aggressive. Her AI is also interesting, and as long as you're not behind the counter or in the back, she just won't go for you, which is a great touch. Actually, come to think of it, they promised a neural network AI, but there's no way the company that lied to us this many times would do it again, right? The puzzles continue to make a lot of sense. Is the key encased in a block of ice? Melt it with a fire, and then put it out with a fire extinguisher. The copter has some good use cases, the problem is, the controls are utter ass. Physics. I had to drag her away from the counter. For some reason she just stood there forever. Why does the baker have the key to the museum? Especially when her cult hates Theo. The whole Forest Protector subplot is barely ever touched upon in the whole game. It's just here, a single statue upstairs, and the mayor's house. Apparently picking up a picture was enough to knock Quentin out, but why though? So, hey, you remember how I said you could brute force some puzzles with memorization? You can get this entire house through memorization, which I'm counting as both a sin and a win, because that's just terrible design, but a win because fuck this house. Why does Otto even have a key for the museum's library area? Clipping. So why does Mr. Peterson even have the camera locked in a safe? It looks like it ran on film or something, can't he just destroy the evidence? Hell, throw the camera into the fire! So I guess Quentin has some form of precognition. is the guest giving him these future visions? If so, why? And what's with the hundreds of golden apple coins? I don't think the games ever actually go into that. Hey doggo, you want some steak? And all you emptied an entire fire extinguisher can on it? Okay, this is the best music in the entire game. Both the chase music and the normal music. This house is big, but it's still easy to get caught off guard, because the upstairs is so narrow and the downstairs is so open. Clear, simple puzzles. I love to see it. Stuff like this is why the vaulting mechanic is a good thing to have. I hope it stays in Hello Neighbor 3. Another key in another person's home that relates back to the museum? Who could have guessed? Theo can't reach me up here. Now that is an obvious transition, which is obvious. Wait, is that Maya's doll he's holding? That is such a good attention to detail. I also like how this scene plays out. I think it's really well done. How strong are you, Theo? How did enough time pass for this combination lock to show up again? And for it to be cobwebbed up? Did Quentin's narcolepsy kick in again? Theo is so aggressive. I think it sells his desperation to make sure that Aaron doesn't escape. However, this makes getting the wrench from his hip a near impossibility if you don't cheese him out anyways. But it's a good callback to Alpha 2. There is a very easy cheese spot that Theo can't reach you in. How did this fall? Genuinely curious. And that was Hello Neighbor 2. Can I go home now? Actually, wait, who does knock Quentin out? Wait, that was actually Hello Neighbor 2? What the heck, that can't be where it ends. Maybe the post-credits scene will give me a clue as to what to do next. What do you mean it's still not finished? There's gotta be something else. Wait, this is an open world. There's gotta be something else to collect, right? You know, when I said maybe there was something else, I didn't expect to be able to jump over the invisible wall because I found a pinch spot. So you can just actually fly with a fire extinguisher if you time it right. Now this isn't a puzzle platformer, so there's not a lot of good uses to abuse it, but the fact this is a thing... Nope, just some collectible tapes. Like, they're cool to collect, but also, really? That's it? I had more fun flying around with a busted fire extinguisher than collecting the tapes. What was the point of making this an open world, other than to give us better context for the houses, rather than just slapping in a shit ton of invisible walls? Which you still did, by the way. Fuck it, while we're here I might as well talk about this. I never brought it up in the first game, but it's completely possible to break outside of the map through going through this lack of Unreal script thingy. And you'd be able to take a look around the town of Ravenbrooks. So why did I bring this up now? Well, I didn't mention it back then because I was waiting for now. Eerie guests cannot keep this town consistent to save their own lives. Remember me mentioning Theo doing some landscaping back in Hide and Seek? Like I said, they can't keep it consistent. I get why, but it does still make it annoying to try and figure out the geography of this place. Okay, that didn't add anything. Wait, there's that fountain in front of the mayor's house. Maybe there's something there? Okay, first thing I need is a monitor. Peterson says that, right? So apparently these night vision gnomes work by throwing something at them? This is never explained to the player. Okay, let's see what we got down here. So these are the catacombs? Was this meant to be more setup? I have a theory that this was never set up for any Hello Neighbor 2 patch, but rather the VR games, that started production around 21, and this patch came out in 23. There's gotta be something else. Oh wait! There's that bridge I never went over. Maybe there's something else there. Adding in such a big content patch as a free patch is an instant win in my book. No opening cutscene, that's kinda weird. So this DLC introduces a new mechanic where you can place boards down with this hammer, and use that to get around, or to block our favourite bird demon from getting in, for a little while anyways. This crane is really dependent on where the logs fall. The guest is so aggressive. I really like it here. The guest can genuinely come out of fucking nowhere if you don't block the doors with the boards. It's a great way to make sure the player uses the new mechanic, and makes the guest a genuine threat. Half of my video file is just getting a bunch of boards together. The forest is really fucking big, and while the minecart does help to get around, the guest can just murderize you while you're there, meaning you're constantly getting thrown off. Using the boards doesn't help as much as you think, not in my experience anyways. And now the climb begins. Normally I hate platforming in Hello Neighbor games, but with the vaulting and the boards, it's a pretty fun ascension. They give you actual checkpoints to make sure that if you fall or anything, you have a way back up, as any good tower climber should have. It also means you can reuse balls you've already placed down without any risk of getting soft locked. This guest kill animation. The church being burnt down creates this really damn unique climbing challenge. I must say, I'm impressed, Patch 9. You managed to give me a Hello Neighbor platforming challenge I genuinely liked. A second checkpoint, even better. Ah, fuck. Box platforming. Shit. Except this time, the boxes have literally no weight to them. Meaning the moment you touch them, they go fucking flying. So right at the last possible moment, it can collapse and send you fucking flying. Double sins for fucking it up at the actual finish line. Why is there a series of tunnels under the church? A weight puzzle that makes a lot of sense and actually involves throwing an object, something that's almost never a required gameplay mechanic. Good shit. Digging upwards. So what's up with the mannequins? Does the guest have something to do with Peterson? I know the cult did, but did Peterson himself? Glad to see Quentin continues to be a narcoleptic. So there's a bunch of pictures you can find around in the forest. Here's some blurred footage of me running around. I'm gonna put all 9 on screen. This is the closest we've gotten to an answer about what happened in Act 3. As you can see, these images are of Ravenbrooks after it's been destroyed by some kind of storm. They focus on the streets, the mayor house, and Theo's house. But like, why? Not why is it destroyed, but you can assume because of the Mayak weather station. But why is this here? Apparently on launch, Patch 9 had an issue. Well, it had crashed because it's trying to load you into a version of Ravenbrooks that doesn't exist. Now, is this because Patch 9 was meant to lead into some kind of bigger expansion of Ravenbrooks? Maybe, but I'm not sure. Maybe it should get its own video. Give a win for having collectibles in this open area, but add a sin for these collectibles going fucking nowhere. Okay, so that didn't actually give any closure. In the files it was called Act 2, but it didn't actually explain anything. Maybe the paid DLC with. Alright, who made this? Oh, it's Steelwool. That's concerning. Especially since this was pre-Ruined Steelwool, when they didn't have all the shit together. So my expectations are way smaller. I guess we should start with the school DLC. Okay, so where is this geologically in Ravenbrooks? I've pretty much seen all the walls and I don't know where you'd throw this in. Wait, Nikki is still simming? Does that mean that this is before the base game or after it? It has to be before, right? Since we apparently show up the night Nikki is freed for reasons we'll get into next time. At least my £6 helicopter DLC gets transferred over, because if I had to buy the thing, I might as well get it in the DLC too. This glitch should be a sin, but it's too fun for me to sin. Somehow, jumping on this car and then jumping off causes you to go flying across the school grounds. I have no idea why, but I love it all the same. Sir, what are you doing here after hours? And why do you have dogs with you? Yeah, I just win this. But look at how much distance we got. How did that happen? Why is this grab animation so terrible? Fuck it, I made the shot. 1 bajillion wins. So, this black dog is able to just steal all your items. Why? Because fuck you, that's why. It doesn't even reset you, it just steals your items. I keep falling despite the fact I'm clearly vaulting up. So this game thrives in smaller environments with simple but easy to follow puzzles. But for both DLCs, the areas are massive. They tried to get away with that here by having the dogs chase you around, but that doesn't work when I can just jump on a table or something to avoid them. This is a Steelwool product after all. This telescope's movement is terrible. Look at it snapping as if this is some kind of VR game or something. The fact that the helicopter DLC absolutely breaks this level by letting you grab stuff like this when it's out of reach shows why this either shouldn't have been here Or should have just been in the base game so they'd be forced to work around this. I should not have been able to escape this. Yup, it's a Steel Ball game. You can tell by the fact that I'm very slightly elevated and nobody can touch me. What is going on with the light here? Quinton, buddy, I don't think that's how running around with a valve should look. You're kind of crushing your skull with it. I still don't know if you actually need to do this. So, what's with this pipe? I never figured that out. And now the janitor can't touch me. What is it with the bigger Hello Neighbor maps and making sure you have areas where the enemies just can't touch you? Okay, these boxes are lighter than air. How is just one of them blocking my way in these gates? Okay, so, my monitors could just suck, and my laptop screen too, but I cannot see this button! Playing fetch for a key. Fine by me. I hope you've been keeping track of those trash bags that are randomly scattered around. This makes no sense. Why is it flowing forever? Why isn't it puddling up? And so on. What the hell is this animation? Why is there a potato battery in the freezer? A potato, I could at least understand, but a potato battery? So I'm a dumbass and thought the blue meant water instead of making the bowl blue, which I will admit was a skill issue on my part. Bro, where is my collision at? He's just standing there, menacingly! Great, the plant has no actual collision at all. It's almost as if this DLC was rushed to meet a release date, and while patched, never fully patched. But who knows, really? It's been how long since I've given a win? Anyways, yeah, I like the idea of altering the light by using a spray can. I think it's a creative puzzle mechanic. I'll give you that much back to school. Grabbing this ladder is way too difficult for no good reason. Clipping. So like, is this man's schedule tied down to when this bell rings? Why? It doesn't even look like he could reach up here. The bell wasn't working before Quinton broke in. Why did he put this key... Wait, did I just crash? Why? Wait, hold the fuck up. So far, while this place has been way wackier than any part of the base game and patch 9, this is getting to the first game's level of insane buildings. You mean to tell me all of this was built under a school? What? Who? When? Where? Why? I guess we know where, but the other four still stand. No, seriously, did the janitor dig all this out himself? I don't think I'm being properly lit here. How does that even happen? And who has Steel Ball watched Alien Force growing up? Clipping. Okay, so is the janitor just making all of these themselves? Why? How does he have so much time on his hands? Ladders are a suggestion, not a right. So apparently you're meant to play fetch with this dog using a picture. That's right, a picture. That's just... Outside it made sense we were doing things with tennis balls and dog toys. Outside it made sense we were doing things with tennis balls and dogs toys. But this just makes no sense. So when platforming across these gears, your entire game object gets turned, meaning you rotate with the gear. And while that makes logical sense, first, tell me if this place even looks logical. Second, it makes platforming a bitch. Why is the finale to this level platforming? What's worse than gear platforming? Gear platforming, but you're also trying to go up. Also, the vaulting doesn't want to work, so fuck you. So, what did Quinton even get from all this? That he broke into a school and fucked around with the janitor for no reason, because the janitor is just kinda living there happily with his dogs? Shouldn't I be sent back to the title screen or something? Why am I still able to just run around? There's nothing to do here, right? Let's see what happens if he grabs me now. Oh, he throws me under the map. What a perfect description of this fucking mess of a DLC. Let's hope the library is better than this shit. So, what is Quinton doing here? Is he doing research? I think so, since he needs the citizens info, and city events. Why does the library have toxic sludge? Why is this a thing? Holy shit. They just did not care, did they? Or maybe they were rushed. Who knows? Hey, lady, I just showed up. No need to grab me like that. Why did the DLC decide to make everything ridiculously huge? This game thrives in smaller environments. So the main thing you need to do here is collect a bunch of books and put them back on the right shelf. I like this, because it reminds me of hide and seek, and is a far simpler objective than whatever the heck the school wanted me to do. How does this even happen? The whole library is a single model, right? With a bunch of assets placed inside. How didn't you close up the textures before giving this to us? So there's just not as much to say here, as most of this area is either the raw platforming or failing bad puzzles. We already covered this last time. I don't think there's much for me to cover here. No, wait, I figured something out. The librarian has no real AI. It's just walk around, and if she sees you, then she runs towards you. But even then, sometimes she just doesn't. Why is all of this under the library? It's like with the gears under the school, but not as bad. Physics. Yep, I've had very little to talk about. Shit, well, maybe this finale will have stuff for me, right? Oh, I was absolutely right. What the fuck is all this doing under a library? What do you mean it goes deeper? Okay, who the fuck made all of this, and why is it under a library? So, what is this black sludge anyway? What is it meant to be? Boy, I sure do love physics. Thank God this isn't a physics puzzle platformer like the first game was. Instead, it's just a pure puzzler. Other than the DLCs, of course. Why is this a thing that is hooked up? Did the librarian do this? I guess we can add massive amount of vandalism to governmental property along with breaking and entering, battery and trespassing to Quentin's growing list of crimes. See back to school, that's how you end a DLC level. Okay, so that was Hello Neighbor 2. Can I finally go home now? What do you mean we're looking at the Switch port next? The load times are atrocious. You know what? Fuck it, you can watch the whole thing. Oh, this is going to be bad, isn't it? Wait, hold on. This cute scene looks way different than I remember. I'm sure that it's just a bug or something. Oh no, they deep fried my neighbor. Wait, what's the keyhole? Why is it just being shoved into the dashboard? There's no way they had to cut a keyhole out of the Switch version, right? What kind of optimization is that? Dear God, they deep fried my guest too! And that was Hello Neighbor 2, so can I please go home now? Wait, that's not where the crowbar is meant to be. What's going on? Here's another look at how bad the loading is in this port. I get why I'm lacking a reflection, but damn is this just such a downgrade. Why is my Copter DLC just sitting here? Shouldn't it be in some kind of box? Dang, they deep fried my entire neighborhood. Wait, this wasn't here before. Just how different is this Switch port? Hold on, where's my little escape cupboard? I'm not meant to be able to do this. Time to go set up for some future stuff. The lighting here makes it very hard to see what's going on sometimes. The game stutters literally every single time you pick up an item. I cannot scroll through my inventory with the D-pad like I can on my PS5. Okay, this many differences means something has to be going on right. When I'm done here, I really should go check on that. And I managed to softlock myself. Well, shit. Huh? Wait, the patch 9 area is blocked off. Okay, I'm googling this. What do you mean the Switch version is still stuck on patch 2? Well, fuck it, I'm already replaying the game. I might as well just do the taxidermist house, as normally intended. What's the worst that could happen? Well, there's no hay here. I guess I just have to die. Wait, why can't I vault over this thing? Why? What's so different now compared to before? Whoa, what the heck just happened there? Okay, so the lunatic with a gun is totally a conservative, right? You can't have something like this in your house and be sane after all. Seriously, they placed 2 boards here. Why is it so finicky trying to place this thing down? God, just fuck this house. Of course. Of fucking course there's a board timer challenge. Why the fuck wouldn't there be? Well, all of that took way too fucking long and I'm never doing this house properly again. Thank God you can just skip it. I could not see these numbers. So much so, I eventually took the Switch out of the dock. You'll need to say my word on it. But it looks less blurry on the tiny screen than when docked. See this? I undocked it and left my footage looking like this. Well, it's about time it crashed. And because of this terrible car animation. Oh wells. Okay, that was Hello Neighbor 2 on Switch. Can I finally go, what do you mean it got the DLC? Fuck. Wait, there's no intro? Hold on, there's no van either. Is that why that glitch existed? Because the opening cutscene was a post-launch update? No, you're fucking kidding me. Did they actually leave the trigger visible? I don't even, how do you leave this on? How rushed was this port? Was this there on launch for other versions? You see how that lock is still on the door? Well, that's because I didn't get the key from the dog first. And since he's taken the dogs with him down there, I need to start over again. This whole thing is just... wow. What the fuck? How busted is this DLC on launch? Remember, we're on patch 2 of 9 here. At least the ending cutscene is here. But also the fact that my expectations are so low to where that is something good is a sin upon itself. Huh? Why is it replaying the first cutscene? I won, didn't I? Fuck it, what's the library like? Okay, no introductory cutscene. I guess that's to be expected at this point. Okay, the rest of the port has looked bad and even had some frame rate issues. But this is just... wow. This is genuinely terrible. Okay, this is even worse than the launch version. What do you mean there's no ending cutscene to this DLC? What the actual fuck? Okay, is that it? Are we finally...
Kids? No way. Too dangerous.